A black mask covers the lower half of his face. His dick print is terrifying. He leans down. A rough, low voice rumbles in your ear.
Party's over, princess.
Welcome back to Let's Get Haunted with your hosts,
Nat Strawn
and Allie. Hey Haunties, and welcome back to episode 266 of Let's Get Haunted. Do things look different to you? If you're not up on the lore, Nat has a very haunted personal haunting to share today.
Holy fucking shit, dude. So first of all, if you've never listened to this show before, this is not the episode for you. Because I'm about to drop some serious, so much background info that it's just not even okay. So if you follow me on any social media, you have seen the absolute insane posting I've been doing lately. I will say the worse my life is, the more I post on social media. Like, there is a direct correlation to that. And I just want to talk for a second about what happened. So I haven't seen Alyssa. We haven't not recorded an episode in like a month. And if things sound and look different, that is because I am in an Airbnb right now. Long story short, my house caught on fire. And I am going to be displaced for the foreseeable future. There is no electricity or utilities at my house for the foreseeable future. And I'm just making do. I was like sleeping on couches for a little bit. We finally got this Airbnb. It's not easy to find an Airbnb during the fucking World Cup in Atlanta.
I didn't even think of that.
It's hard, bro. It was really hard. We finally got this one, but let me just back up. Okay, I wrote some of this down, not all of it, because I really want to forget some of it, but I wrote some of it down.
Let me just say, guys, from my perspective, like Nat said, we pre-recorded a bunch of stuff because in June is Nat's birthday. Then I was going on my family reunion, and then as fate would have it, it was also my fiance's family reunion, literally the day after I got back from my family reunion. So we were like, shit, we're basically not gonna be able to record for like 3 weeks. We better stack some episodes. And thankfully we stacked one more than we thought we would need. And thank God, because then I get home and I get a text from Nat, and it's just actually, no, I was still in Alaska. I got a series of 3 videos from Natalia, and at first they wouldn't load because I was on a cruise ship, no time to explain, and their internet was really, really bad, and I learned I'm not a cruise person. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not the star of this story. However, I am trying to load these videos, and I can't see anything because everything's so pixelated, but I can hear what sounds like water and sirens, and I'm like, what is going on? And then eventually, like a few hours later, the video's finally fully loaded, and I was like, what am I looking at here? And so now this is my first time hearing the full story along with you guys. So I am sat. Let me take my shoes off. Hold on, you guys. Let me unzip my boots. I need to get comfy, cozy.
And I want to apologize for the sound quality. I know it's like a little bit echoey in here. I'm doing the best with what I've got, guys, because we didn't have any more time. This episode has to get up and out. And so, just pretend it's 2016. Okay? Everyone just pretend you don't know what good audio sounds like. All right. So let me fucking back up here for a second. About a month ago, my brother-in-law was electrocuted. He's a lineman, and he was like working on some lines, and he was electrocuted because like the bucket he was in was like not turned on or something weird, and he was dead for like 5 minutes.
Wow.
He was in the ICU. I think he was in a coma for a little bit. Like, we didn't know if he was going to make it. So that was really, really stressful. Okay. And then Alyssa and I go on break, and my aunt has a stroke and she passes away. It was like not a good time. Like, they were like inducing bowel movements, and she was just like stuck in bed and was like conscious. And it was awful. It was horrible, horrible. Flew back to Houston for the fucking funeral. Okay. And so that was like right on the heels of my birthday. And then my husband's dad has a stroke. He wakes up and like half the side of his face isn't working. So he's in the hospital. Half of his face isn't working. His throat's not working. He can't swallow. He's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. So we're kind of like, shit, is this the beginning of the end? Like, is this, what's happening? And so his sister and brother-in-law and their 2 children, who are the same ages as my children, fly out from Portland to come to Atlanta, and they're staying with us at our house so that they can visit the dad who just got out of the hospital and, not be like in that hair and stuff. Cause like after you have a stroke, it's like, he's like falling down and stuff. Like you have to stay in bed. He's like, speech slurring and stuff. It's like someone's really drunk. And so we're all fucking like, okay, it's fine. We can get through it. Everything's fine. Just keep going. Just keep swimming. Like, don't stop. Go. Keep going to your gym appointments. Keep going to take the kids to the dentist. Like, fuck, it's summer. Like, just figure it the fuck out, And then I'm watching this motherfucking Belgium USA soccer game because I like saw this hot Viking man, Holland, and instantly like all the pheromones in my entire body were like lit up, and I just became so fucking feral in the World Cup, and I was just like reposting like just like men playing soccer and shit, and I was like, because that's just where I am in life right now. Like shit's just like not going the way that I thought it would, and so I'm like, you know what? Life is fucking short. My aunt just died. Everyone's getting dead. Everyone's having strokes. Everyone's fucking dying. And, I'm watching my kids grow up and it's so fast. And I'm just like, fuck, like life is ending fast. And like, you need to do what you came here to do or your time's going to be up soon because it feels like I was just in high school. And I'm 100% sure this is a midlife crisis. Okay. So, but it's okay. It's okay. It's all going to be all right. So I'm watching this soccer game and just allowing myself to thirst, like allowing myself to be a 35-year-old woman thirsting after 22-year-old professional athletes. It's okay. It's fine. And I hear this knock on the door. It's like, pop, 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 pop. I'm like, oh, fuck, the cops are here. Like, you know what it sounds like when cops bang on the door. Like, it's serious. And I'm like, fuck, like trying to think like, what did we do? And I was like, well, I guess 4th of July was yesterday. We were like busting off these huge fireworks, but it's legal in Georgia. Like, my mind was spinning, like, how am I going to get us out of this situation with the police? Like, what lies am I going to tell? Like, I don't know what's going on right now. Hey, guys, it's Nat. It's time for new glasses. You know it. I know it. The whole world knows it because you can't fucking see without that shit. Maybe your glasses are held together with glue or you keep losing those little screws on the side, but otherwise they work. But now you're in your masculine energy because you're fixing shit all the time and your manifestation rituals are suffering. Make other people fix shit for you. Make other people fix shit for me in this economy? Yeah, girl, have you heard of Zenni? Zenni is an online eyewear shop where you can get prescription glasses, sunglasses, and blue light glasses starting at under $30. All you have to do is go to Zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they'll ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter, no masculine energy. We're not doing masculine energy because at under $30, you don't really have to think about it. You don't have $30, put that shit on a credit card. It's basically free. With over 150,000 5-star reviews, Zenni literally can't be wrong. Plus they have this cool virtual try-on feature so you can see exactly how a frame looks on your face before you commit. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now is the time. Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. And now back to getting haunted. Get to the door and it's like a group of 10 people that like I don't even know. They're like yard workers that their truck had broke down in front of our house. And they're like, your house is on fire. Your house is on fire. Get everyone out. And I'm like, what? Like, I literally thought like we were getting punked because I had just put the baby down. Like all the kids are asleep. It's nighttime. It's dark. There's no smoke alarms. There's no fire. Like, what are they talking about? And then I go outside and I look and there are like 20-foot flames in the sky all up the side of the house. And we just had this metal roof put on, financed it. Cool. And, so the roof's not on fire, but like everything under the roof is on fire. So the flames are like licking up out from underneath the roof and like going up and over. And so you kind of can't tell where the fire is. because you just see these flames coming up from underneath the roof, and the side of the garage is all on fire. In our car, this like piece of shit Sequoia we bought that I've done a few vlogs with is on fire. Like all the windows are busted out and stuff. And the trash cans are on fire and the whole side of the house is on fire. I mean, it's a major house fire. And in that moment, I'm just like I got that like mom power where like, you know, you could lift a fucking truck off of a baby, like under stress. Like I just felt like my whole body became light. Like I was like 20 years old, like running track, like professionally, like or something. I don't know. And I sprinted into Milo's room and I like got him up out of the crib and like ran outside, shoved him in some bystanders, neighbors' hands. I don't even know who they were. They were like equally shocked. And I was just like, did someone call 911? And they're like, yeah, the fire department's on the way. And then Cody runs out and he's just like, fuck, and grabs like a garden hose and is like spraying the side of the garage. And then I'm having this moment where I'm looking at everything and all these yard workers and just like kind of taking this in. You know, this is like a 2-second situation. And they're like, move your cars. They keep saying that, move your cars. But in my mind, I'm like, I got to make sure all of the people are out of the house. Like, why does what my car is doing matter? Like, this is like life or death, you know? So I go back in the house and I'm like trying to find our au pair. We got this au pair. She lives with us. She helps with the kids and she sleeps downstairs. And because I see her car is still in the driveway. And so I go downstairs and I'm banging on her door and I'm like, Andy, get up. There's a fire. She's not answering. Her door is locked. Pounding. I'm pounding. I'm like getting ready to beat the fucking door down. I'm like, Andy, there's a fire. Get up. She's still not responding, nothing. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I don't know how much of the fire has progressed because like at this point, the house is starting to fill with smoke and like it, you know, I just always hear that fires happen so fast and it like, who knows where the fire is? Like, what if someone opens a door on the other side of the house and it causes a backdraft and just shoots flames like all the way down where I am? I don't know. I don't know where Enzo is. I don't know where my brother and sister-in-law and their kids are. Like, it's pandemonium. So I go back outside and at that point, a police officer was there and he blocks off the road and he comes out and he's like, is there anyone in the house? And I was like, yes, there's one person in the house and I can't get a hold of her. And he's like, all right, show me where she is. And he like goes inside and then he's like, no, you can't come in here. And I'm like, okay, she's downstairs. And then he's like goes in and he's in there for like 2 minutes or something. And then he like comes back up and he's like, all right, come show me where she is. And so then I go back down with him and he's like getting ready to like bust open her fucking door. And she answers the door finally when he pounds. He's like, police, like get out. And she's just so confused. Like she was in the shower. My fucking nightmare. You know how everyone has a nightmare where like you're in the shower and there's a fire and then you have to come out? Like that's happened to her. So we finally get her outside and by now, like the flames are, it's like very apparent that the whole garage is on fire. And there's a moment where I'm just like, fuck, like Cody just got this new car. And I have this like materialistic moment where I'm like, like the car could be saved right now because the fire department's not here yet. And I know technically the cops told me don't go back in the house. And like everyone's like, no, don't. But nobody cares about the car as much as we care about the car. Yeah. And I know how hard it was to get the car and how much it means to him and all this shit. But I can't drive a manual. So like I have to like figure out how to get this car out, you know, before the whole house goes under. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, fuck, if everything else burns, it's okay. Because we just saved the car and then it's fine, you know? Yeah. So, it was like, I am trying to move this fucking car, don't know how to drive a manual, whatever. Long story short, fire department shows up. There's like 8 fire trucks and like 40 firemen. They all come and they're trying to fight this fire. They roll up to our street and they're like unrolling the hose. And then there's like hornets. There's like a fucking hornet's nest on top of the, like in the grass around the hydrant. And so then we're all just watching, by the way, because everyone's just standing on the side of the street watching my house burn down. And these guys are just like, fuck, god damn it, as they're like screwing this hose into this fire hydrant. And then someone gets out, like a extinguisher and is like spraying it. And it's so loud. Like I can't hear anything that's going on because there's sirens and there's like people running and it's loud. You don't know what's going on. So I'm like, oh my God, is the fire hydrant on fire? Like it did not occur to me that there was bees, but apparently there were bees.
Why would that ever occur to anyone?
No. So then they finally get the hose on, and we're like, all right, put out the fucking fire, firemen. Because they're just like, what are they doing? They're like organizing. They're like getting into groups and shit. And I'm like, fucking, can someone just point the hose at the fire? But no, they're like climbing up onto the roof and like scratching their heads and like, you know, figuring out like how they're going to go about it. And I'm so glad at that moment that I got the car out, because I was like, this would fucking piss me off if I was just watching them not fight the fire, just like choreographing like what they're gonna do as the fucking car and everything in the garage burns down. And so then they like get out like a chainsaw, and they have like an axe, and they're like chopping up the roof, and then like going down in the roof, and then spraying in there, and then opening up the garage and like chopping up the drywall and stuff. And I'm kind of like, hey, I feel like you guys should literally, look, I'm not a firefighter, but I'm like, can you just point the water at the fire? Like, why are we chopping the house up? Like, this is making it so much worse right now as a bystander. Like, okay, just put the fire out. Like, what is happening? What is going on? I know that there's probably reason for it. I get it. Like, you know, invisible fires or whatever. I don't know, but anyways, long story short, that happened. And so then it was like nighttime and we had nowhere to go. So then it's me and my husband and the other family and the kids. We all just went to my mother-in-law and father-in-law's house, and we're staying with them for 5 days, even though one of them just had a stroke and they don't have the space for us. And then the kids were fucking fighting for 5 days. And it's just, we're displaced, and we're talking with like the emergency people, and they're such vultures. Like, as soon as your house burns down, there's like 100 different people like being like, oh, can I board up your windows? Like, oh, can I do this? Like, oh, here's this, you know, oh, like you need this insurance adjuster. Like, do you want to talk to me about this and that? And like, you're still traumatized, like trying to figure out what is even going on. And like, yeah, the people are fucking vultures. So I don't know where we're going to be next. It took us like an abnormal amount of time to even just get into this Airbnb. And this is only for 2 weeks. So, like, supposedly they're going to find us another house, but insurance is so cheap. They keep being like, okay, we found you, like, a nice 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom studio 11 miles away. And I'm like, you guys, I had a recording studio in that house. Like, I had kids stuff in that house. Like, come on, you know?
Yeah,
so
you have an au pair, you have 2 kids, you have you and your husband, plus family that's staying with you. Like, a 1-bed, 1-bath is not going to cut it.
Right. Yeah. And so it's just been a mission. I mean, thank God, luckily, the firemen were showing me afterwards that there's a firewall of insulation between our garage and like the main house. So there was smoke damage all through the house because the I guess like attic or like AC or whatever picked up the smoke and just blew it all over the house. So inside the house still smells like smoke, and you have to have like an environmental person sent by the city, and they have to come test like the floorboards and like the insulation and stuff in the house to make sure it's not toxic. And you really don't want to skimp on that shit, because like if you try to sell your house in the future, they'll be like, oh, well, it's a fire damage, so we're not going to pay you for it. Or worse, like you get cancer or something because you're just living in toxins. So I'm very thankful that everyone was okay. You know, I keep just telling myself, like, if you're alive, you can fix it. That has been my mantra. I'm just like, as long as I'm alive, I can fix it. And so that's what I've been going for. But I have been stressed. I do feel like I handle stress poorly. And so I've been trying to like microdose to see things from like a different perspective, but I've just been like crying in my car listening to Taylor Swift, you know? And so I'm not sure that the microdosing is exactly working. Like, what perspective are we trying to get, you know? But I'm just trying to stay positive, because it's like, I feel so unmoored, and like Cody and I, we were already having issues, and like work was already hard, and like raising kids is already hard, and his dad was already had a stroke, and I had already was in my midlife crisis watching all of these people die and stuff. And so like now I just feel like we fucking took the board and threw all the pieces up in the air. Like, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen anymore. Like, am I even going to, like, what roles do I want to keep in my life? Like, I don't even know. And I'm trying to not like spin off the rails and just like go full fucking manic. But it's hard, guys. It's very hard when you don't have your routine, and you don't have your house, and you don't have your support system. So my point is, please forgive me. This episode is gonna be a fucking shit show, brothers.
Well,
and sisters.
I think here is the toxic positivity silver lining. I think even if the episode subject matter sucks, this intro is fucking crazy. And I think people should re-listen to it like 10 times, give us a bunch of streams just listening to the intro so that we can, pay our bills this fucking month. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think even if you just had one of those things happen to you, I could see it causing a midlife crisis. So the fact that you had like 5-6 things happen in a short period of time, like within a 30-day period of time, I think it's pretty amazing that you're even able to write an episode. So I think you're probably doing better than you're giving yourself credit for. And sometimes crying in your car to Taylor Swift is what the doctor ordered. You know, like sometimes you've gotta feel the feelings and cry it out. And then I was about to like try to connect it back to something, and I'm like, what have I done every time I have like a crying session for, that doesn't seem to help me? And I'm like, well, probably nothing. But I do think, aren't there studies that say your cortisol goes down when you cry? So I do think it's good for you.
I do think that. Look, I hear all of this bro science from my husband all the time. And the one that he was saying today, which I don't even know if this is true, guys, tell me if this is true or not. He was saying today that when you are in groups of people and you fail, your testosterone rises. So like you get like a kick of like competitive edge. But if you are alone and you fail, your testosterone like decreases. And so you get like sort of emotional and weepy, I guess. Now, I don't know. Is that just like red pilled like propaganda? I have no idea. But I like the idea of it because I'm just like, yeah, we're going to fucking fight. Like we can get through everything as long as we're alive and everyone just sticks together. Like we can get through it. And I'm just trying not to be so like judgmental and like harsh on myself for having crazy times. Because
I think the mantra you have is good. Because you're right. As long as you're alive, everything is fixable. Like everything can be overcome. The only time anything can't be overcome is if you're dead, because then you don't exist anymore. So yeah, I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally forgot about this shit too. Like, so when we moved, right after the fire, we were like staying at the house and we were so exhausted, and it's like 4 of us sleeping in a queen bed, and like my husband, who's a big guy, me, a big girl, Enzo, big kid, and the 16-month-old, we're like all sleeping in this queen bed, and I'm just so exhausted. In the middle of the night, I just hear like thud and then crying, and Milo fucking rolled off the bed and busted his face open and had like a busted lip and busted nose, bloody nose, and I was just like, oh my God, motherfucker.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, I've just been getting fucked in the ass with no lube and like no prep lately. Yeah.
But now that means when life is fucking you gently, it's going to be even more sweet. You know?
Ooh, I'm excited.
It'll
just full eye contact, slow life fucking, okay.
Yeah, like beautiful orchestral music in the background or smooth jazz. And they're like feeding you grapes. I think it's going to be good. Yeah, life is, everything bad happens at once. This sounds like an avalanche of bad things happened at once. But then you have to think to yourself, because there's no alternative, that means that something really good's about to happen to balance the scales, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yep. I think the content from here on out, now that I have a recording space and stuff, is going to be fire. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be giving season 1. I think it's going to be giving mental breakdowns, oversharing on the internet. So I do think that's what our show has been missing. Some of the OGs have said that they like when we suffer. So maybe this is good.
Hey guys, it's Nat. Look at how gorgeous I am. Everyone just take it in. Stop what you're doing. Look at my beautiful, soft, silky hair. Years ago, I would have bought this hair. I would have gotten 22-inch extensions, and now it's all me. I'm so confident, it's obnoxious. It should actually be illegal for a person to feel this invincible. All thanks to NUTRAFOL. Look, I get it. You had a bad time. You cut your hair into a bob. You reclaimed your independence. But now, it's time to grow that shit out, bitch. Grow out that bob like you grew out that man. And then you walk away and just let him see your shine. This summer, we are trying to get super hot and then let no one hit. And that's why we're using NUTRAFOL, because NUTRAFOL is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. NUTRAFOL's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested. NUTRAFOL offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages. Right now, I have the postpartum edition, but my women's formula is on lock, waiting for me to finish. Once I finish this jar, I will be moving on from the postpartum period. Officially, slay. Adding NUTRAFOL to your daily stack is easy. You order online, no prescription needed, with an automated delivery and free shipping to keep you on track. Plus, with a NUTRAFOL subscription, you can save up to 20% and get added perks to support your hair health journey. Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster growing hair in 3 to 6 months with NUTRAFOL. For a limited time, NUTRAFOL is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit NUTRAFOL.com and enter promo code HAUNTED. That's NUTRAFOL.com, spelled NUTRAFOL.com, promo code HAUNTED.
Now, I will say for this episode, I was going through my drafts, seeing like, what can I find here in the drafts? And I had one that like the hook was already written, but the hook is kind of ridiculous, guys. So we're just going to go with it. We're going to go back in time to last season when I was writing romance hooks, because that's what we got here. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Imagine it's 2:43 a.m. on your birthday. You're at the bottom of the bottle. It's late. Your feet are blistered. Your phone is on 7%. The girls have been asking to leave for 45 minutes, but you're not quite done. You beg your friends to stay. Just one more song. Just one more drink. Just one more memory. You say it with the conviction of a woman about to die in battle. Then, you feel a polite tap on your shoulder. A man's voice says something, but the music is too loud, you can't hear. A camera flash goes off. You assume it's because you're gorgeous and keep dancing. Then, a huge hand closes around your shoulder, fingers curling into your skin. Slowly, cautiously, like someone picking up a feral cat. Your eyes follow the veins in his forearm upward until you find yourself face to face with the largest security guard you have ever seen. The sleeves of his black t-shirt are in a losing battle against his biceps. A black mask covers the lower half of his face. His dick print is terrifying. He leans down. A rough, low voice rumbles in your ear. Party's over, princess. Shit. Let me say it again. Party's over, princess.
We need Ryan,
Party's
put
over,
like
princess.
a voice changer on Natalia's voice as she says this. Like make it very, very low and
Low.
Yeah.
Yeah, low and alpha, please.
Yeah.
Party's over, princess.
Shit. You're getting kicked out of another bar. It's my birthday, you protest. You can't kick someone out on their birthday. Without another word, he throws you over his shoulder, and the club disappears beneath you. You kick and scream, aware that your entire backside is exposed to the gen pop, and his 7-foot frame has elevated you so high that you're basically doing crowd work. Put me down, you demand, but he keeps walking, unaffected by your tantrum. Exasperated, you yell, "Everyone can see my ass!" His entire body goes rigid. A beat later, his enormous palm reaches up and gently covers your soft, thick cheeks like he's protecting national treasure.
Natalia.
When he finally sets you down outside, you turn around to confront him. All you can see are green eyes, black hair, and the shape of a jawline that causes women to abandon careers. He says something into a radio and then folds his arms. fuck, this guy is hot as shit. And you were just acting like a total psychotic bitch. You need to recover. You need to say something cool. You need to shoot your shot on your birthday. Hey, sir. His eyes narrow.
What?
You lower your voice. It's a secret. He kneels on the pavement to hear what you have to say. You lean forward and whisper. I want you to fuck me like you're on life support, and my pussy is the only way to pull the plug. Silence. Instant, immediate, nuclear silence. Your soul leaves your body and you watch it ascend to heaven. Then slowly, green eyes lift up to meet yours.
You're drunk.
He says.
Come back tomorrow.
The next day you come back, determined to get piped by that 7-foot tall guy with the mask. You turn the corner where he left you on the sidewalk the night before and freeze. The club is gone. In its place, an empty lot. What the fuck? Were you that wasted? No, it's gotta be around here somewhere. You walk around the entire block, but no, there's no club anywhere. You remember the building, the people, the music. The guy with hands who could crack you in half. You remember exactly how to get there, but it's simply not there anymore. And according to everyone you ask, it never was. This episode of LGH, we're talking about phantom places, hotels that disappear, roads that lead somewhere impossible, entire experiences that leave witnesses with photographs, memories, and absolute certainty that something happened. But when they return, reality refuses to acknowledge it ever existed. Buckle the fuck up. We're about to get haunted.
Wow. Okay, first of all, I have to say that my mother-in-law just figured out I have a podcast. I've been trying to keep it from her for a very long time. If you're listening to this right now, you should know that we take turns telling stories and that the person that's not saying the hook has no idea what the topic or the hook or the content is going to be. I will leave it at that. Second thing, my mom was calling me nonstop during that entire intro, and it was in order to see Nat, you guys, because the computer's way over there, the editing computer, I have to have an iPad set up as a second monitor. And so because the iPad is connected to my phone, it kept sending her calls to my iPad. So then I would reject, and then all of a sudden a new one is popping up, and then reject. And every time you reject, Riverside, which is the program that we're recording from, starts over on the iPad. So it was a lot. It was a lot, but I think I understand. I think I understand what's going on here. What's going on here is there are people like you and I, people like anyone listening to this show right now. And sometimes those people go to a club or a restaurant or bar, perhaps, and then the next day they come back because they're like, I had a lot of fun there. I met some cool people. I had some cool vibes. And that place no longer exists. Is that true?
Yes. That is what I am telling you.
Wow.
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of giving like Backrooms time slip. I just finished watching The Backrooms, which is a new movie. If you didn't listen to our episode on The Backrooms like 2-3 years ago, you got to go do that. But so this is like this concept I feel like is a little bit fresh on my mind, where you slip into a location that both exists and doesn't exist. Now, there were no hot bouncers in the movie Backrooms. There were a lot of like really fucked up creatures. I did not see a single hot bouncer. So that is where today's story differs.
Dude, if nobody has created a porn of the Backrooms where it's just hot guys looking around for a girl who's lost and then they're gonna take her in the back room, if you know what I mean, that needs to be made.
You know what?
Sorry
with
to
the
your
popularity,
mother-in-law. I'm sorry, Allie.
oh no, you're fine. This was wow, what a roller coaster, guys. We started off with midlife crises and tragedies and people almost dying and people dying, and then we transitioned into just wet dream city, and now we're transitioning again into paranormal village. So we started off in hell, We've transitioned to heaven, and now we're transitioning into a liminal space, it seems.
You're getting your dopamine fix this episode for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to say is that I went down a rabbit hole here, and as we all know, I'm having a tough time. And so, I don't know, maybe it's Mercury retrograde, maybe this is just my final form, but basically the episode is a little chaotic, it's a little under-researched, and it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. So everybody just be on board. If you have more information, pass it on, because we're gonna want to hear. Now, Allie, have you ever heard of vanishing social clubs or any like related folklore of like vanishing parties or like vanishing scenes?
No, I never have. And that's why I'm so excited about this, because I feel like we have talked, of course, about vanishing rooms or parallel universes, or like I said, time slips, or ending up somewhere that you shouldn't be.
I'm outside of space and time.
Or I remember in our Backrooms episode, we had someone write in to our show saying that they were taking a nap and their parents were running throughout the house and they couldn't find them, and they had checked the couch that they were sleeping on and they weren't there. And then several hours later, the person who wrote into us woke up on the couch and they were back, and it's like they were back in their reality, and the family was totally baffled by it. So I'm familiar in general with like the general idea, but adding in a social club aspect is very vampire, True Blood. What else? Twilight a little bit, maybe not.
Yeah.
Twilight, I feel like didn't have a lot of clubs because they were so young. I feel like this is very True Blood coded to me, which I'm kind of excited about.
What's up, guys? It's Nat. It's not too late to lock in for summer. You know it's not that hard to lock in. Literally just do the tasks. Eat healthy, get enough protein, get enough water, get enough sleep, be active, listen to some motivational YouTube videos. You need to parent yourself, or you're never gonna get out of this flop era. That's why I love Factor to help me hit all of my nutrition goals without the planning, grocery runs, or honestly the thoughts. There's already too many thoughts up here, and then sometimes there's no thoughts at all. Look, either way, it's not my problem. It's Factor's. Factor has meals built around your goals, whether that's weight loss, overall nutrition, more protein, or GLP-1 support. For strength and workout recovery, check out Factor's Muscle Pro collection. Every meal at Factor is crafted with functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. That's because Factor bans more than 175 ingredients. No artificial colors or sweeteners, no high fructose corn syrup, no refined seed oils, just nutrient-dense food. It's fresh, never frozen. There's over 100 rotating weekly meals, including globally inspired flavors like Mediterranean and Asian, so there's always something new to look forward to. Try the newly launched ready-to-eat salads with vibrant ingredients like miso edamame, plus more than 70 add-ons to round out your nutrition, from green juices to peanut butter energy bites. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes, and Factor shops, preps, cooks, and delivers straight to your door, so you have more time for everything else you love this summer. Head to factormeals.com/letsgethaunted50 off and use code letsgethaunted50 off to get 50% off and free daily greens per box with new subscription only while supplies last until September 27th, 2026. See website for more details. And now back to getting haunted.
There's a bunch of different types of these, and we'll go through a few of them. But the first one I wanted to talk about, the vanishing room, is one that people might have heard of before. Now, this is one of the oldest, and it's the most famous example of like a quote unquote disappearing place. And it takes many different forms. Sometimes it's called the vanishing lady or the vanishing hotel room. And this is kind of a common trope in paranormal lore. But basically the story first appeared in newspapers in the late 1890s. And the story goes like this. A woman and her daughter travel to Paris. The mother becomes super ill. She is dying. She needs like a special medicine that only can revive her. You know, it's dire straits. So the daughter leaves to go get this special medicine in Paris. But when she returns, not only is the room empty, it's literally gone. The room is gone. The hotel staff insist that they've never seen either woman before. They didn't see the mom and they didn't see the daughter returning back with the medicine. I know, I am getting like chills
I'm
right
scared.
now. Like
I'm scared.
Hotel spirited away your sick mom and just fucking ate her. And the daughter demands, she's like, I have to see the room. And they're like, okay, fine, like mental breakdown, whatever. Like, let's just get this crackhead to see that there's no room and then she'll leave us alone. So she goes up, confirms there's no room. Now, some versions claim that the mother died from the plague and that the hotel secretly removed the mother's body to avoid panic among everybody in the house or like the hotel, and then just like was really fucked up when the daughter came back and was like, no, there's no room. There never was anyone. Look, I kind of get it. It's like a lost cause. Like, your mom's dead. She's gone. Right? Like, that's
She's not
over.
coming back.
She's not coming back. So, like, I don't know you. Do I owe you closure? I don't think so.
Okay, you know what this is reminding me of too? You told me years ago to watch this movie, and I keep forgetting to tell you that I finally watched it at the beginning of this year. What?
1408?
Yes.
The movie?
Yes, I
Oh my God,
finally
what did you
watched
think?
it. Oh, I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
good,
It was very
so
spooky.
good.
Yeah, I loved it. But this is kind of giving that, right? I mean, no spoilers, even though it's like a 40-year-old movie for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But it's about a room that seems to be bewitched, and sometimes people enter and they cannot leave. The conventional ways that you would leave no longer work. And perhaps you're not even in this dimension anymore.
I don't need to sleep. I don't use currency. I'm not a part of this time.
So yeah, I see what you're saying though. Like, okay, lady, you from the hotel's perspective, you abandoned your mom. She had no ID. I'm making things up to make it like somewhat acceptable. Like, she had no ID. We didn't know who she was. We come in to do turn down service on the room, and she is being eaten by rats with the bubonic plague. And we're like, fuck, we're going to have to shut down this entire hotel. And we're going to have to get exterminators out here. We're going to have to contact the health department. We're going to have to get a plague doctor out here with his pointy beak mask. Like, we can't afford this. We've got employees. We've got other guests.
Yeah.
Just throw her in the incinerator. And then next thing you know, somebody shows up claiming to be her daughter. Like, okay, 12 hours too late, bitch. She's Ash.
Too little, too late. Honestly, your mom deserved better. And so we did her a favor.
We cremated her for free. Some places charge a lot of fucking money for that. You are welcome.
Okay, so the club hook intro that I was telling that Allie didn't get to hear, which, by the way, Allie, you got to go back and hear.
It stopped for me. My mom started calling as soon as you said meaty hand covering her, and then it cut out.
Okay, that explains, because I was like, wow, Allie's really taking this really well. Like, she's not, like, because if you guys don't know us, one thing about Allie and I, our dynamic is we do like to kind of troll and tease each other.
It's true.
And so I was like, I'm just going to have to work even harder next week. Like, this was not X-rated enough. Like, this was clearly just too vanilla and did not raise an eyebrow.
Oh my God.
So there's not one famous like phantom dance hall club type story legend. It's actually like this reoccurring folkloric motif that shows up across a bunch of different cultures, including Celtic, Appalachian, Newfoundland, and Scandinavian traditions.
Ooh.
The basic structure is almost always the same. Someone hears music in the middle of nowhere. They follow it. They find a very lively dance. People's having fun, drinking, libations, whatever. Everyone's acting like they belong there. The person's just like, I don't care. Like, this seems cool. A rave in the middle of the forest. Like, you know what? I actually deserve this. Life has been really hard. And so I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to let myself roll with some strangers and maybe make out with someone who's way uglier than me just because my soul needs to feel human connection for a little bit. I'm not going to judge it. Just let it happen, right? And dancing all night, something's starting to feel off though. Like, it's just like, like maybe you have to like take a massive shit, but like you don't want to stop because that's going to turn the tables. I don't know. Just something is not correct. Yeah. And you don't exactly know what it is. So then you leave. And when you leave, you try to come back because, like, obviously you want to go back to that sick rave in the forest, but it's gone or like the building is gone, it's abandoned, or everyone there has been dead for years, or it's like, you know, it was a speakeasy and then you go back to look at it and it's covered in cobwebs and it's boarded up and stuff. And you're like, whoa, where did that go? Now, folklorists actually classify these as variants of a quote unquote ghost feast, a fairy revel, or a phantom gathering. And they treat them all as like separate stories, but I'm kind of combining them all into this episode of like the idea of like, hey, there was something that was cool and lit and now all of a sudden it's gone.
I would definitely walk into a phantom rave in the middle of nowhere by myself if I was going through a tough time. So this actually does tie in perfectly with our personal haunting this week, because there have been times in my life where, yeah, everything's going wrong. Like you just found out you got cheated on, you had to move to a new house, your work is going shitty, maybe you just got fired. And then you're like, yeah, well, you find yourself going on a midnight stroll to clear your mind in your new neighborhood that you're not really familiar with yet. And what if you come upon a big dance hall and there are werewolves hanging out of the windows and you're like, that guy looks pretty good to me and I just got cheated on. I just want something lighthearted. And then you walk in, you're having a great time. And then the next day, just to think that you could interact with something, like talk to people, dance with people, drink with people, have what feels like a human connection, and then for it to not be there, I feel like that would send me in a spiral.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, that would be rough. Like, what if we just found out that this whole podcast was fake? Like, we don't
say that
have
to me.
a podcast. Like, we don't have a Patreon. Like, there was never any episodes uploaded or anything. And like,
oh my
whenever
God.
we ask anyone, like, hey, did you ever listen to Let's Get Haunted? They're like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Paranormal podcast?
Oh my
Ew,
God.
that's stupid. Why would someone do that?
I would be like, did I just wake up from 10 years of breathing in carbon monoxide? Like microdosing carbon monoxide, not enough to kill me, but just enough to make me think I had a podcast and a friend. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, let's continue on this diabolical trail. Now, this next session I'm calling the fairy dance. And this type of like phantom gathering happens in Ireland and Scotland. Now, Allie, do you know anything about the fairy dance?
No, I don't. Is it like the rain dance where if you dance well enough, fairies come? Or is it fairies dancing?
Or
neither?
It's the second.
Okay.
I think it's the second one, fairies dancing. Now, this is probably the oldest version of the lore of like the phantom gathering, because we talked about the vanishing hotel room, which became popular in the 1890s, and we talked about the club with the 7-foot-tall, terrifying dick print man, which is actually a more recent one that I imagined for us. Now, this one goes far, far back. So far back that actually later in this episode, we will listen to some accounts and read some accounts that are passed down through the generations. But this story basically goes like this. There's a farmer, he's farming, you know, doing his farm shit, and he hears fiddles coming from a hillside. And he's like, all right, bet. Then, sorry guys, sometimes I speak in brain rot. I really like it. Like, I'm just going to keep doing it. It's part of my midlife crisis.
Yeah,
okay,
I get it. He's a farmer. He's sweaty. He's been plowing his field. He hears a fiddle. He's like, I get down to a fiddle from time to time. It's probably not the devil. It could be something cool. And I'm tired and I'm sick of plowing.
Yeah, he's like, damn, those fiddles are tea. So he walks over and he sees an enormous celebration. Sometimes it's like a tent. Sometimes it's inside of a tree, or it's like an abandoned cave or something. It doesn't matter where it is. He goes in. The point is that while he's in there, there's beautiful strangers and they're inviting him to dance. And he joins. Now, he's dancing all night, and as you might expect, eventually he's like, oh, I'm actually tired. I've been dancing for such a long time. It's time for me to get back home. You know, I need to drink water. I need to sleep. This is great, but I gotta go. When he finally leaves, though, he realizes that his one night in the fairy dance equaled 100 years on the outside.
Whoa.
Everyone he knows died. And he begins rapidly aging the moment that he steps outside of the party. he like it fast forwards his skin and shit like 100 years. And the story has different variations. It's like sometimes he stole food from the party, and so that's like considered to be some sort of like repercussion. Sometimes he accepted wine from the strangers at the party, and so that's supposed to be like some sort of potion or like fairy magic, like a bargain. Because they say about fairies that like they're very tricky and you don't want to get wrapped up into a bargain with them. Sometimes simply just joining the dance was enough to damn him and bind him in whatever magic it was. And this is an idea that we see across a lot of different fairy lore. It's this belief that fairies lure humans through music. Allie, do you know about the concept of fairy music?
No, I don't. But I'm familiar with like the Pied Piper and the devil went down
how
to Georgia. And
tell us about it.
The Pied Piper. It was this guy, and he played the pipe, and it scared all the rats away. But then I think people wouldn't pay him or something, and so then he was like, "Well, then I'm taking your kids." And then he played the pipe, and all the kids in the village left with him as well. And then when the devil went down to Georgia, they got a fiddle battle going on, and Johnny ends up winning, and the devil's got to give him a fiddle made of gold. So,
is that facts?
So I'm a little familiar with demonic music, is what I'm saying.
Damn, Allie had the receipts. Whoa. That is one thing about Alyssa, is that I don't know if she's quite human, because she remembers every single thing anyone's ever said to her. And it becomes very hard to argue with her when you are cannot remember what you've said in the past, because you're like, I don't know if I've said incriminating things against me. So like, I'm just going to say less. I'll say less to give her less to use against me in the future.
Well, as far as I know, you never battled the devil, but if you had, I would definitely remember that, and I would bring it up right now. This is also kind of reminding me of, now this one I only have a vague memory of. I remember I had a book. It was a soft cover book as a child, and I would read it and reread it all the time because I really liked the illustrations. I do not remember what it was called. I think it was called like 12 Dancing Princesses or 12 Dancing Maidens or something like that. Mm-hmm. And actually, I think it was kind of similar vibes to what you're talking about right now, because it's these ladies and they're young and they go dancing, and I think there's a banquet and one of them eats the food, and I don't remember what happens other than calamity. I don't remember if someone dies. I don't remember if someone gets stuck or frozen there, but there were definitely consequences for partaking in having a fun time, which feels now in retrospect like that just feels sexist, and it was probably like trying to teach you to not stay out after midnight or something, like Cinderella.
Yeah, God, they just don't want you to pop pussy. That's what it is.
They really
don't. Makes
don't.
them irate.
It really
makes
does.
Them so angry. They hear it popping and they're like, we must put a stop to this immediately.
They don't like when ladies eat, and they don't like when we shake ass.
Mm-mm.
So if you're listening to this and you're a lady, you got to do both right now. As you're listening to this episode, no music. Okay, just start shaking ass and find a pie, please.
Yeah. Preferably a warm one.
Yeah, and then start crying. Like, just treat it as like a transcendental experience.
So the concept of fairy music is so common in Celtic folklore that it became kind of like diagnostic. If you hear beautiful music where there shouldn't be music, people say like, just don't walk towards it. Like, that is something bad happening when you hear music and it's luring you towards it. There's actually, this is crazy. I realized this when I was researching this episode. There's this source of Irish national folklore. It's called the Irish National Folklore Collection at the University College of Dublin. And I'm butchering this, but it's like Duchas, the National Folklore Collection. And it has hundreds of thousands of pages of folklore collected from ordinary Irish people, including famous like 1930s schools collection. And there's like so much, and you can go through it, and it's like, white paper with, or no, not white. It's like yellow paper with blue lines, and people like wrote down in like perfect cursive, like before there were like typewriters and computers and shit. Like, it's fucking scrolls, bro.
That's awesome.
And then there's also like audio recordings of people just telling like, oh, my aunt said this, or like I knew someone, and they have these super thick Irish accents. And we're going to listen to some of them. These are some of the most relevant accounts. Now, I am going to send you this first one. The audio starts at 52 seconds. Let me text it. I got this laptop. It's an Apple one. I put it on my credit card, so it was free. And now I can text from my laptop, and it's actually made my life so much easier.
Yes. Okay. Nobody asked for this, but The 12 Dancing Princesses is a classic fairy tale collected by the Brothers Grimm about a king whose 12 daughters secretly dance all night in a magical underground world, wearing out their shoes. And the soldiers have to solve the mystery of where the ladies are going at night. And if they solve it, they get to win a princess's hand in marriage. And I guess one of the princes has an invisibility cloak. Oh, and he brings back a golden cup and silver twigs.
Okay, guys, this is a piece of audio that was recorded April 1965. And it's from an informant. That's what I love about this. They take it so seriously. The informant is Patrick Carroll and Mick Cunningham, and it was collected by Leo Cordiff and Michael J. Murphy.
I'm ready.
And they continued right along over there towards Crossmidland, practically followed the lane of the border. Apparently, civilization seems to have started up on the high ground and worked down into the valleys. That's as far as I know. And there was a story one time at Roddy Artsford. I heard my grandfather telling about this woman, her husband died. He had a fair good crop. He hadn't a very big quantity of land altogether, about 20 acres, but he had nearly all in oats and spuds. And the husband died in the summertime, and she had no help. She had only herself and some very young children. And it was a bad year, very bad harvest weather, lots of rain. And it was difficult for the neighbours even to get their own saved. And they did intend to come to help her when they'd get their own done, and had very good intentions, but they never materialised. And one morning she got up and the corn was all cut and stooped. And she had heard noises out in the thing and saw some little small figures moving about. And it was generally believed that the fairies did it. And then the spuds came along. And one morning she got up and the spuds were all dug in the pits. And the people around there, they decided that this fairy corn, they'd have to get some of the seed of it. And she was able, for years afterwards, she was selling the fairy corn, the subsequent crops, selling it at an enhanced value, a bob or two a barrel more than normally it would go. And she made a very good thing out of it, and reared a good family. Roddy Art was descendant. You must have known Roddy Arts there. They're beside Pat Mathis's.
That's in Carrickastic.
In Carrickastic, and it is, of course, yes.
What would her name?
Murphy.
Yes.
Aye, Rose Murphy was the descendants there.
Well, did they ever talk up in Carrickastic about the fairies? Who they thought the fairies were?
Oh, well, they never liked to be referred to as fairies. Only the wee people or the good people or the gentle people. They didn't like to be referred to as fairies at all. They would take umbrage at that and feel hurt and offended. And
what form would this umbrage take? Would it take?
They might upset the stooks of corn in the field at night, and things like that. Maybe put the cattle out onto the road. They were blamed for it anyhow. And cut the tethers that when they were tethered out in the field,
Yes.
This is the form it would take. Various little acts of devilment like that, but nothing very, very serious. They wouldn't kill or injure anything beyond letting the cattle out and things like that, taking the bushes out of the gaps.
These forts now, are there any fairy bushes on it?
Old fairy bushes, so nobody with any luck on the side would have anything to do with a fairy bush. He wouldn't cut it at all. He wouldn't even take a blossom off it or a hoe off it. Not at all. Oh, no.
Did you ever hear of anybody who did cut one?
There are various stories about people having cut them and cattle dying and horses dying. But they definitely wouldn't touch them at all.
Did you ever hear of anyone who cut one, mate?
Yes, I had experienced myself once. I had a neighbour who was doing some work for me, and we were removing a fairy bush, it was considered a fairy bush, from a piece of property which I bought. And doing so, he said, now look, he said, I'm not coming over after dinner if you're moving that bush. I wouldn't take part in that, because the last time I touched one of these bushes out in a field near Bell's estate, he said the stone came down from the top of the bush out of nowhere and hit me on top of the nose and peeled the skin off my nose and left me attending the doctor for 3 weeks. Now, he said, I heard of other men who went to bed and never...
This guy's like a professional yapper. And I kind of don't know. I was hoping you would know what he was saying, because the other ones I understood, but that one, he was basically just saying like someone had like fairy corn and they sold it at the market, and then the fairies were mad, and so they let the cattle out, and then there was like a fairy bush, and like the farmer would never cut the fairy bush.
See, okay, when the first story, I thought he was saying that the fairy, there were sections I could not understand at all. So our Irish listeners are going to have to weigh in. I thought they were saying that the fairies gave them the fairy grain and the fairy potatoes, and that they got a little bit more than what they would get for normal potatoes and grains at the market, and that the fairies were chill with it as long as you didn't call them the little people. And if you called them the little people, as long as you didn't call them fairies, the fairies were chill to be around. But if you called them fairies instead of the wee folk or the little folk or the good people, they would let the cattle out and cut down the grains and like ruin the crop.
Allie really is the best researcher there is.
But no, but I don't know if that's right. I don't know, because there were like little sections where I couldn't hear what he was saying. But I do love listening to regional accents.
I know that.
They're just so interesting to me.
So it's a heck of 2 roof lights. The stylish house frame furniture and the scar cushions with mats and shack back cover.
I don't know why. They just are.
Okay, I have a few more here. These are much shorter, so we're just going to kind of go through them. And these are just going to be like nice little sound bites. This one's from 1953. The collector is Sam Hannah Bell, and the informant is Miss O'Mooney.
Well, the music sounded like violin music. But they couldn't exactly know what tune it was. Only you just could hear a nice, sweet sound of music, like violence in the distance.
Ooh.
Isn't that like Professor McGonagall?
It's definitely, it's soothing. It's like a wise older lady that's just made you a shepherd's pie, and she's just telling you a supernatural story so matter-of-factly. Like, oh yeah, fairy music? I've heard that before. Yeah, it just sounds like violins, but like you can't really tell what tune it's in. And you're like, wait a minute, back up. What do you mean you've heard fairy violins?
This one is recorded in 1953. The collector is Sam Hannah Bell, and the informant is Barney McDowell.
And you cannot, the loveliest music that ever you heard, but you cannot tell what class of music it is or what it's playing, but it's sweet. That's one thing I can prove to you. You cannot say it's English, Irish, Scotch, or Welsh, or German. You cannot tell nothing, but it's great music. And very nicely noted. Any class of music at all, if you'd happen just to have the guts about you to say, well, I would like to hear a good Irish air or something to that effect, well, you'll hear it. And you'll hear it very plain that you understand it. But them coming along with their gathering in the tribe, as the man says, their music is the nicest and the sweetest music. There's nothing can compete with the fairy music today. I don't care what country you go to. You can't get the same notes, you can't get the same music, only.
That one I feel kind of sad for him. Like he's just yearning, you know?
He's like, there's nothing will ever sound as good as those times I've heard fairy music.
Damn.
Damn. Maybe it's kind of a curse to hear the fairy music because it is so beautiful and life-changing that you're just, constantly waiting for that next dopamine hit of hearing that fiddle or violin in the distance.
That's how I felt when I read the first, like, smut book, ACOTAR, Court of Thorns and Roses. I was like, oh, like, this can happen? Like, fairy? Like, there can be, like, adult books of fantasy with, like, hot fairy people, and they can fuck, and I can read it in a book now. Like, it exists. I remember just like a whole fucking world opened up to me. And then it was like, oh, like what? Okay, that, whatever. Okay, so like, what's the next thing? Because like, how are we gonna top fairies fucking? You know, and then it's like gets like crazier. Then you get into like dark romance, and then before you know it, you're off the deep end. And so I wonder how that guy feels. Like he probably just can't listen to regular music. It's got to be like, no, the chimes, get the chimes in.
He's probably so mad anytime someone tries to play music around him because he's like, no, you don't understand. I once heard fairy music.
Yeah, it's a curse. This one is from 1953. The collector is Sam Hannah Bell, and the informant is Malcolm McCambridge.
Well, this was an old man I was speaking to. He was the name of Monotony. Alec Ballard, they called him. He's known as Alec Ballard. Ballard was the name of the place he lived in. It's supposed to be a great place for the fairies. And I was speaking to him one day and I said, Alec, did you really ever see any fairies? Well, he says, no, Malcolm, I've never seen the fairies, but there's a holly hedge right above our house, he says. And I often listen to the music, the nicest music it is ever you listen to. I often listen to it. Now, he told me that.
I love Irish folklore. We've never done a full episode on Irish folklore before, but we have had guests on the show who are Irish. We've interviewed people who have Irish like stories that occurred in Ireland that are related to Irish folklore that we've had on our What's Haunting You series. And what I really like about Irish folklore is I like that everybody just accepts that fairies are real. I like that because that's kind of what our show is trying to do, right? Like we're coming into every topic accepting that the baseline paranormal is real, and so we can move past it. You know what I mean? Like you're not trying to prove to somebody that we're allowed to have an open mind and have a good time. That's just the baseline we're starting with. And that is what I really like about these stories that you're playing for me right now, is that none of these people are wasting time trying to be like, well, here's why I think the fairies are real. Here's why they're culturally significant. Here's why, we don't want to move the bush and the practical reasons. And let me try to convince you why this isn't impractical. No, it's just like, I heard fairy music. It sounds nice. I've never heard anything better in my life. I hope one day I get to hear it again. If I die before hearing it again, I'm going to be so sad. And I like that.
All right. Yeah. The yearning. It's beautiful, you know?
It is beautiful.
Devotion. Okay, this is our last one. It was recorded in 1953. The collector was Sam Hannah Bell, and the informant was James Bryce.
Well, this place in the Irish they call it the bowling ground. It's a hill between three. And the fairies used to congregate there at night, and they had fiddles, and they would dance all their leagues and reelers and jigs and hornpipes of the day. And the people there was fiddlers there. They picked up the tunes that the fairies were playing, and there was one of them especially. My father was a great step dancer, and he danced to it, and they called the tune Seamus McAnon.
And so in this story, somebody danced to the fairy music?
Yeah, and they called it Chim Shikidakadakers. Like, I do not know what he was saying.
Yeah.
But that whole thing reminds me of just like Mary Poppins, you know?
Chim chimney, chim chimney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was literally
Chim
thinking
chim churu.
Yeah. Love that. Oh, I love when people can just get whimsical with it. I think is like the overarching theme. Now, I do have a thought. This doesn't sound that unusual to me. The music part, the phantom music part, I am familiar with. I'm not familiar with phantom music halls. That's a brand new concept to me, or phantom parties. But phantom music, I get that. Because have you ever been laying in your bed at night and maybe you have like an old fan that's turned on or something, and maybe the TV's on downstairs, and for whatever reason it's just the combination of things makes you think you're hearing music and you're trying to concentrate on it and you can't quite make it out, but you hear something that seems like it could be music? That's happened to me definitely quite a few times in my life. And sometimes I'll turn to my partner and I'll be like, hey, is somebody playing music outside? And he's like, no, it's the fan. It's like the vibrations from the fan. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then as soon as, he says that, then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. It is just the fan. Like, you turn the fan off, I don't hear it anymore. But that definitely is something that happens. Have you ever had that happen?
I'm making this crazy face because I thought I was losing my mind, but like the last few nights that I was in before the fire in the house, we have this it's called a hatch. It's like it like plays
I have a
like
hatch.
white noise to
Yeah.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, when I'm listening to the hatch at night, I swear there's like some sort of tune underneath the fucking fan. It's like
Maybe that's what I'm hearing. I always just thought it was because we don't have AC in our house because we live in Oxnard, and a lot of houses in Oxnard don't have AC because you're close enough, whatever, to the sea breeze that is like fine, even though you're not living on the beach. But anyway, so sometimes it do be getting hot up there, and so you've got to turn on the overhead fan, and then we have like a shitty little extra fan. And I just thought it was that, but maybe it is the hatch. What is your preferred noise on the hatch?
Brown noise.
We listen to pink noise.
What? Pink noise? Oh, God, now I feel fucking loser. There's a pink noise.
The pink noise sounds like white noise, but thicker is the best way to describe it.
The brown noise sounds like it sounds like the inverse of white noise. Like it sounds like deeper.
Ooh.
Yeah. Listen, you know you're in your 30s as fuck when you're like just talking about different fucking white noise variations you can listen to in your sleep. I do think that the Hatch Company is nefarious, so I would not put it past them to be trying to subliminally like program us or something, because it was a gift to us. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's like a little like Wi-Fi controlled device that like plays tunes, and like you have to have a subscription though to like make it work.
That's
and so
the haunted
I didn't
part.
realize that. Yeah, I didn't realize that because like if I knew that, I would have just bought a fucking normal white noise fan from like anywhere for like $10. I didn't realize that this one, it's first of all, it's like $60 or something like that crazy. And then you have to have a subscription to listen to it. So, you know, that sucks. So after my subscription runs out, I'm not doing it again. It was a moment of desperation.
Yeah,
I realized that I had already bought it.
Yeah, my partner cannot sleep in silence. And so I had bought it at the beginning of us living together because I was tired of hearing him bitch about it. And I thought it would be nice to like do something nice. So I was looking online, what's the best white noise machine? And all of these articles, which now I understand were probably paid for. By the way, Hatch, you should still sponsor us if you're listening to this, because I do use you and I will not stop because I'm in too deep. But so every single article was saying Hatch #1 in 2023, #1 in 2022, like all of, you know, it's just going on and on about how great Hatch is. So I was like, all right, I'll buy it. I found it on Amazon. I bought it. It arrives. I set it up. And then I find out you need a fucking monthly subscription. I don't remember if it's monthly or annual, but you need a subscription for it to work. And I felt so ripped off because what do you mean I can't just buy something that has pre-programmed noises? Like, what do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's bricked if you don't pay for the subscription, which is so stupid.
It's the only way I can describe it is literally nefarious. It is nefarious. Now, I do think they should still sponsor us.
Yeah.
Because we are a haunted podcast. So it would make sense for us to have nefarious company, white noise, subliminal messaging company.
Yeah. Also, like I said, I'm in too deep. How long have I been paying for this thing now? 3 years? 4 years of subscription? So, I mean, I'm not going to stop anytime soon because it's working. Kevin doesn't bitch. Everyone sleeps fine. And apparently there might be fairy music underneath the brown noise. I'm going to have to turn on brown noise tonight and see if I can hear fairy music.
Yeah, tell me if you hear it.
Okay.
I might have been getting the sequence wrong, but it's something like that, like a very simple sort of melody that's sort of like 3 or 4 notes, and then it just keeps like repeating over and over and over and over again. And I'm like just laying there like, how insane am I going right now?
Yeah.
Like this is literally, my mind is unraveling. Okay. I just sent you a link to a story. Now, these are really cool. I'm going to share on the screen to make it easy to talk about what I'm talking about here right now. But this is really cool because these are the written accounts. So we just listened to some of the recorded accounts. But what's cool about the written accounts, like I was saying earlier, is that they are literally written down. Like, see this?
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
So it's kind of difficult to actually the cursive is very good, but if you would like, you don't have to read the cursive off the page. On the right side, there is like the typed out message. And as you get to the bottom, you can just read and go. But this is a story that was collected by a female named Margaret MacDonald in the 30s, I believe. I don't know. It doesn't have it written down here. And the informant was Miss Kay MacDonald. She's 60 years old. Her occupation is a farmer. And Allie's going to read it.
Yep. So this is called Fairy Forts. Quote, "There is a fairy, wrath convenient to where I live. Everyone is afraid to interfere with it. Once the man on whose land it is went to fence it for a haggard. He had the fence only just started when all his cattle pigs and horses got sick. There was a man called a ferryman in another part of the country. This man was supposed to be in league with the fairies. The man whose stock was sick sent to this man and asked him what he should do. The ferryman told him to go home and throw down the fence again, and all would be well. He did this, and after a short time, all the animals were as well as ever. People passing there late at night have often heard the music of fiddles playing. There are other wraths in Moanmore, and people saw funeral processions going into them. Many people stand in great awe of these forts, and would go any distance at night to avoid passing by them. In the summertime, there's often a gale of wind called a fairy blast. It will take anything such as hay or corn that it meets in its path. People are not supposed to bring back the hay or corn, as they say the fairies want it and will have their revenge. Many instances are known of people who were cursed through incurring the displeasure of the fairies. In olden times, the teacher used to tell the children to bless themselves when they would see the blasts coming, and to let a straw or something go with it, and to say, "Godspeed, all travelers." Long ago, the fairies often used to take healthy children and leave weak ones in their places. No mother would let her child sleep out of fear of the fairies, or good people as they are sometimes called. Nowadays, when we see a small, stunted, or puny person, we say, "He is gone in the fairies. If you do not meddle with the fairies, they will not hurt you." End quote. By Miss Kay MacDonald. Wow, Miss Kay. Miss Kay's sharing knowledge, dropping some knowledge for all of us.
Dropping some serious heat. I think that's just so cool that somebody took the time to sit down and physically write out all of these, like, word of mouth stories. And I'm so glad that someone did that. And then not only that, I'm so glad that someone made a fucking database, data of all of them so that we can enjoy it. Because I know that I write down stuff all the time and then just throw it away or lose it, you know? And maybe at 100 years from now, it would be actually really cool and relevant. And they would be like, oh, this is how people from 2026 talked.
We do have a similar website in the US. I forget what it's called, but our government runs it. And I remember I was looking up, last year I had done an Allie's Miniature Haunting episode. I think it was only like 10 minutes long on Patreon about frozen Charlottes. And there's a song poem about frozen Charlottes from the 1800s. And yeah, somebody from the government somebody got a grant and went out and recorded this guy, like the last guy that they could find that remembered this tune. And they recorded him singing this folkloric song about this lady that dies on her way to a dance or something and becomes a frozen Charlotte, quote unquote. And I remember thinking, this is so fucking cool that there is that somebody saw the value in this, because I think a lot of the time taxes are high in a lot of places, and you're like, I wouldn't mind if it was going towards cool shit, but a lot of the time it just kind of seems like it's going towards the military industrial complex or like stupid shit. But I would love if my taxes went towards more stuff like this. I think this is so cool. I think it's really worthwhile to archive this kind of stuff. And even just like the slice of life aspect of it, where you just go to a regular person, a person who's not a celebrity, who's not the CEO of Palantir or whatever. You're just going to a random person who's a normal person and asking them to lay down like their favorite stories. I think that that's super cool.
Yeah, I fuck with that for real. And I just wanted to say thank you to the fairies and everyone who supported them. So please don't do anything bad to us for supporting you on our channel.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about a few other of these like vanishing cultural supernatural stories. This one comes to us from Appalachia. It's called the Appalachian Ghost Dance. Allie, have you heard of this?
No, but I already love it just based on the title.
So it's very similar. Like, you're going to see a lot of similarities between all of these stories. So these are oral traditions instead of written legends. And it's basically like a traveler hears fiddle music coming from a clearing. And the clearing is really significant here because it's often like, oh, like you're like walking through like brush and you can't see anything. And then all of a sudden it like opens up to this beautiful meadow and you hear these fiddles playing and there's a square dance and people are laughing and everything seems really normal until you recognize someone that died several years ago dancing in the clearing.
Oh my God.
And then you look at everyone's feet and you might notice that their feet are not feet, they're cloven hooves, or their feet are backwards, or they have no feet at all. And there's this idea in Appalachian folklore that you're supposed to quote unquote check their feet because ghosts or witches or fairies have feet that are inhuman. And they say never dance in Appalachia until you look at everyone's feet first.
Oh my God. That's so spooky to be walking. You come upon a clearing, you see some people getting down. They seem really friendly. They're smiling. They're having a great time. You go walk up to them. Maybe you're having a conversation. You grab a drink. And then you happen to look down and the bitch's feet are on backwards. Oh my God.
Yeah. Also, but like, I'm sure there's like some people that have backwards feet and like they can't help it. Someone's gonna be like, actually, I was born with this defect and I don't have feet or my feet are on backwards, and like enough with the supernaturalization of people with no feet, you know?
There is a surgery you can get where if you have an amputation, usually it's due to bone cancer, and you get an amputation that takes away your knee, you can take the foot and put it up higher and put it on backwards, and the foot joint, the ankle, will act as the knee inside a prosthetic. And it's really fucking badass. And I do come across videos from time to time of people that have the backwards foot knee, and it looks really fucking cool. So if you're listening and you have a backwards foot knee, you're half supernatural. That is bragging rights forever.
Now, the next one is called the Newfoundland Phantom Dance. Allie, have you heard of the Newfoundland Phantom Dance?
No, but I do remember at one time we covered a story in Newfoundland, and I said Newfoundland, and I never fucking heard the end of it from our Canadian listeners. So I'm ready to not do that today, hopefully.
Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because that shit is literally spelled Newfoundland. Okay? The only reason I say Newfoundland is because that's what everyone else is doing, but I know in my heart that shit's wrong.
Yeah.
So Newfoundland has dozens of these type of stories. Once again, it's the idea that someone's like walking along and they hear music that they're not supposed to be hearing. So in these situations, though, because it's Newfoundland, it's usually a fisherman, and the fisherman is walking home and he hears a dance at an abandoned community hall. The windows are glowing. There's lights on inside. He hears music spilling outside. So he joins the party. Everyone, though, is dressed in fashion that's been out of like use for decades. And nobody is acknowledging that anything is strange happening at all. But he's kind of like, everyone's, is this a costume party? Like, why is everyone dressed, like 50 years ago? So the morning comes around and then the hall is empty. And sometimes it's burned down years earlier. Like he realizes like, oh, actually this has always been just like a dilapidated building, and it was all an illusion that there was a dance hall going on. Sometimes though, like the club story in the beginning, the dance hall never even existed. He just like comes to in the morning and realizes that there was never a dance hall there. It's just an empty space.
Yeah, that I think the second option is much more terrifying than the first option. Like if you come to and you just realize that nothing was ever there at all, not even a building, I would be like, I got drugged. Like there's no alternative. Somehow I got drugged and I hallucinated this. Whereas if you wake up and you go back to the building and the building's still there, it's just that it's dilapidated and there's nothing inside. Somehow that makes me feel better about it. Even though I guess you'd still be hallucinating if you imagined an entire party in it and a nicer looking building.
Yeah. I mean,
at least
would you be mad,
something's
though?
there.
Or would you be like, you know what? I'm just going to let myself have that memory and enjoy it. Because, like, it's over now. You know, will you look back on it with, like, a fondness of, like, a situationship of just kind of like, you know, loving is never wrong.
I think I would rationalize it in my mind. I think that if I walked over there and there was an old dilapidated building, I would be like, oh, well, it was dark, it was late, I was drunk. There probably really was a party here with a bunch of people inside and decorations, and I just didn't realize how run down this building is, and I guess someone cleaned it up before morning. Whereas if I walk there and there's literally nothing, there's literally no building, I am just going to walk straight into the ocean and never come back.
Okay, Allie, I think you're going to like this one. This next idea comes from Ireland, Nova Scotia, Appalachia, and Newfoundland. And it's called The Devil and the Dance. So this is basically like you're at a dance, okay? And all of a sudden, a super handsome stranger shows up. And he is like the best dancer anyone has ever seen. He's like super, super fucking hot. He's got a terrifying dick print, like all of that kind of stuff. Everyone loves him. He's got great social charisma. He knows everyone somehow. Like he's just fucking the goat. Until someone notices all of a sudden he's got horse hooves or goat legs, or he's smoking, or his footprints are burning literally into the ground. And then all of a sudden, once he's been perceived, he vanishes. And then sometimes the dance hall goes up in flames. And sometimes everyone who was dancing becomes cursed. And in some variations of the story, one woman disappears forever and like just is gone.
It just keeps getting worse. This just like keeps getting worse.
Who's the unlucky person that just randomly like disappears? You know, it's like all this stuff happens and they're like, okay, you know what? It's fine. That guy was a devil. And this whole building went up in flames. Like, it's okay. Like, we'll get through it together. And they're like, where's Debbie? Where is Debbie?
So are we to believe that in this scenario, the devil horseman took Debbie with him? Or do we think he just like picks a random girl, points at her, snaps his fingers, and like Chris Angels her? She's just gone.
Maybe that's good for her then. Like, we don't know. You know, maybe that was fine. Maybe it was like a hot situation for her.
Right. Maybe she went willingly.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what it was like in Newfoundland at this time, but could have been pretty dire if like you were just at a fisherman party, like a man walks off of a fucking boat and goes to a fisherman party with like waiters and shit. Like, of course it would be the hottest man you've ever seen. Just a clean person walks in.
Yeah. And you know what? Who cares if he has horse hooves? I'm tired of the stigma.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
That's a plus in some people's book.
He's a good dancer. He's charismatic. The parts that matter are all there and fine. It's just his feet are hooves. I can get over that.
Me too. I would love to pick his feet.
Would you shoe him?
That would be so satisfying.
Would you put horseshoes on him?
Mm-hmm. I would give him nice ones, like T-bar rockers. They would be really, I'd give him good ones. Maybe some like silicone padding in there too. Guys, I know my horseshoes, all right? I spoil. I'm a spoiler.
Maybe that's what Debbie did. Maybe Debbie was like, hey, you need some shoes. Let me shoe you, you know?
Oh.
And he was like, oh my God, no one has
I've
ever
never been shod.
People just look at my feet and scream in horror because I'm lighting everything on fire with them. But you are the first person to actually tell me, hey, I've got a solution here. Instead of letting your sparks get all over the wood, let me put some metal on the bottom of those feet, contain those flames, and we can make some flames elsewhere in private.
He never been shot before. Tonight, he be your naughty boy. Okay. Now, this one is called the abandoned ballroom motif, and it is a motif because there are several instances. This one started appearing in the late 1800s. So a person enters a ballroom, the orchestra plays, everyone's dancing elegantly, no one is talking much, just dancing. And then afterwards, they discover that that ballroom had closed decades ago and everyone attending had died in a fire. And the hotel that it was at never even existed. We see this motif a lot in Victorian ghost literature.
Ooh.
And I think in the Shining, the book, there was like a phantom ballroom situation that happened. Now, the last one I think Allie might be interested in because she loves to drive her trucks through weddings. This one is called The Ghost Wedding. And basically a traveler stumbles into a wedding reception. They're welcomed, they eat, they dance, they celebrate. But then they wake up in a cemetery and realize that the wedding happened 200 years ago.
That would make me feel so much better about the terrible thing I did several years ago, guys, where no time to explain. I told the story on the show. I think it's season 3 finale, but I could be wrong, where I drove through a fucking wedding, not once, but twice. And when I say drove through a wedding, I don't mean I drove around a wedding. I mean that I saw the bride coming down the aisle as my fucked up truck was going ee! As I'm driving like fucking 2 miles an hour past the trellis. Okay. That's what I mean. That is what happened to me.
You were a ghost.
Well, I was going to
Were
say,
you the ghost?
if later I found out that that was just a ghost wedding, that would free me from the guilt I have felt for many years for doing that to that poor woman. Because if it was a ghost wedding, then she probably repeats it all the time, right? It's like a certain time of day or a certain time of night or a certain time of year where this ghost wedding just takes place over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of like the fun thing to do if you're a ghost in the area. You go attend this ghost wedding. And maybe I just like, you know, I mixed it up for them.
You gave them a memory. Like,
Yeah.
they're so lucky that they had you there, you know, because now they can all bond over that.
That's what I'm going to choose to believe.
Now, folklorists, which is actually a really cool job that I wish I had, they say that this all happens, like all these instances, because of music. Music is always the lure. It's not voices, it's not lights, it's not the dancing, it's the music. And the music is like hypnotic. And folklorists think that dancing represented something deeper than entertainment. Because when you dance with a community, as a community, you're literally joining their social order. So in other words, you're not just entering into a building or going into a meadow or a burned down tree rave. You are becoming one of them by dancing with them. And yeah, isn't that cool? And so all of these stories, you know, like if we strip all these stories of their culture, right? Like the fairy feast from the 1300s, the devil dances from the 1700s, the ghost ballrooms popular in the 1850s, phantom jazz clubs popular in the 1920s to the 2025 warehouse opener that I gave, or 2026 warehouse opener that I gave. We notice that the details evolve, but the structure doesn't. It's always music, someone joining strangers, and then things become unreliable, reality changes, and they return if they're lucky. So it's kind of an interesting way to sort of look at life in general. And like, I don't know, since I'm having a midlife crisis, I do want to go to like a rave soon. I've been thinking about that. I really need it. And I was thinking about it and I was like, there is something hypnotic, something healing about just fucking sweating your dick off, dancing to some rave music, just letting go, you know, just letting go. And it's, yeah, like the absence of a social order in a way.
It's like that song by LCD Sound System, Dance Yourself Clean. Like there is something about dancing if you're in a non-judgmental environment, which I think is what was really nice for us growing up in a time where people did not film you while you were dancing and like post you on TikTok.
God.
I know.
Thank God.
Like we were able to go to raves and festivals, and yes, people took photos, like definitely photos were a thing, but you never ever encountered, especially at raves, I never once encountered a judgmental person at a rave during the era that I raved. Everyone was so nice. People would, you know, trade you bracelets and tell you that they loved your outfit. Yeah. Now, was it because people were under the influence? Probably partially. But honestly, I think the act of being under the influence at a rave was just a piece, at least at that time period. I don't know what the kids are doing these days, was just a piece of letting go and not giving a fuck about how you are perceived. Yeah, it was just about dressing up, and a lot of, I don't know what the kids are doing these days, but we used to make our own clothes for raves and hot glue stuff onto a bra or something.
Flowers on bras.
Yeah, flowers on bras, mirrored pieces on bras, jewels, gemstones, rhinestones, fringe. And it was just really fun and freeing because nobody was judging you for what you were wearing or how you were dancing or how you were behaving, because everyone was just having such a good time and becoming part of one community. And there are still people that I follow on, you know, Instagram that I met at a rave in 2012, you know, and it was great. And I don't regret it at all. I hope it's still like that at raves. I hope it is. If anyone still raves, let me know if the scene has changed. I have not been to one in a very long time.
I think I have to go. I think my body needs it. My body's demanding it. Yeah, but I'm like, oh God, please don't be old. Like if I go and everyone's going to be like 20 years old and just like fresh, like no trauma, just like the light in their eyes. And then I'm just like the old weird person.
I don't think that'll be the case. I think there's always a lot of old heads, as they say, at these types of events. You know, think of like Grateful Dead concerts, even back in the 60s, where there were a lot of young people just having a really fun time, 60s and 70s. There were also super older middle-aged people, like probably in their 60s, 50s to 60s, that were just letting loose. And you're not in your 50s or 60s, so I would say you're still young.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thanks for supporting my episode. Thanks for listening to my mental breakdown.
Round of applause. Round of applause. Now, I'm hoping next episode's personal haunting will be an update on what caused the fire. I hope to find out about it. But for now...
That's the thing is...
Oh, go ahead.
We don't know yet. I have my guesses. It was the day after. Here's the weird thing. It was the day after 4th of July, and we had been doing some crazy fireworks the night before, like big mortars and stuff. But we disposed of them all like the way you're supposed to. And then after the fire, none of the fireworks had burned. Like they were all still next to the trash can. So then I was talking to like the lieutenant guy who comes out afterwards, and he was like, yeah, so did you clean out the garage or something before? Because we saw a bunch of like books and things like that in the trash can. And I was like, yeah, I did. Like a few days ago, I just went crazy because I was so tired of looking at clutter that I was just like, fuck this book. Like no one even reads this. This was just left here by the previous owners. And I put it in the trash because I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I need less clutter in my life. And there was like all these old RC cars and stuff that I just threw in the trash. And he was like, yeah, it's actually really common. Some RC cars have like lithium batteries. And if you get any sort of trauma on a lithium battery, it can become unstable and explode and just ignite. And that's like why you can't take it on a plane. And he's like, it could be anything. Like sometimes you don't even have to throw them. They can just get like trauma like within the actual unit. And I was like, I don't know if they had lithium batteries or not. I was just like in my mom rage, like cleaning out the fucking garage.
So it could have been lithium battery. It could have been old firework thing. It could have been the car that we have is old and that could have like had a weird spark ignite or something like that and then caught everything else on fire. We don't know yet. They're doing like forensics. So we're going to find out.
Well, I'm very excited, although this is obviously a very negative haunting. I am excited to learn what they decide caused it, just because it's like, you know, it's like solving a mystery, and I just think solving mysteries are fun and interesting, and it's the only silver lining to something bad that happens is like, let's get down to what caused it. But after hearing all of these tales that you've told us today, in my headcanon, I'm going to say I think the man with the cloven hooves was dancing in your garage and the sparks were flying from his hooves, and that's what caused the fire. There was a phantom dance party in your garage and you didn't even know it.
Oh my God. And I didn't even get invited. That's so rude. They cucked me at my own party. Like,
yeah, they light your house on fire after like having the best night of their lives and then just peace out.
Yeah. Well, Allie, would you like to do our sign off?
Yes, I thought this was a great episode. I love learning about little niche stories. I love that so many similar stories exist in so many different parts of the world. Now, if you're interested in the movement of people, I guess you could say, well, yeah, but the Irish, they immigrated to Newfoundland and they immigrated to Appalachia, so they probably brought some of their stories over. I don't care, because if they brought their stories over and that's why there's so many different places that have that story, they may have also brought fairies over with them as well. They may have also brought perhaps seeds from a fairy bush, little piece of home, something that they wanted to bring with them to whatever newfound land they were coming to. And maybe that's why the stories persisted of the phantom dance halls. I love it. I think it's great. And I love that we have so many different decades and variations. So thank you very much, Natalia. I really enjoyed this story. And for my sign off, I'm going to have to say, BRB, gotta go re-listen to that hook because my mom called in the middle of it and I'm sure it was really something to behold. Bye.
What's up, guys? It's Nat. I had a whole really cute closing credits pre-recorded for this episode, but for some reason I can't get it up and it's already 11:04 p.m. on Tuesday, so sorry this is just audio. Welcome to the closing credits for episode 266. This month, we would love to give a warm, heartfelt thank you to our Patreon donors who donated to us in the month of April 2026, letters L through O. If you would like to become a donor and hearing your name shouted out on a future episode, head over to patreon.com/c/letsgethaunted, where you will not only get a shout out, but you'll also get access to episode extras, minisodes, bonus episodes, vlogs, personal hauntings, live streams, and much, much more. This week, we'd like to thank Lacey M, Laura the Lauren, Lauren B, Lori, IDBug979, Leanna BC, Lena, Let Us Forget the Names, Lex L, Lexi Norway, Lexitronic, Lil Dilda, Lily Bones, Lily Bell, Lindsay M, Lindsay S, Lisa B, Lisa H, Lisa R, Liz K, Lizzie L, Lobo, Macklehorn, Madnej, Madeline, Maddie M, Maddie P, Madeline M, Mads, Maggie Bobaggy, Maha L, McKenna P, Mari C, Maria O, Maria A, Maricela A, Marina W, Maris G, Marquez C, Marissa J M, Marty F, Mateo NL, Matthew L, Matthew M, Maddie Joe, Max M, Mason G, Meg R, Megalantern, Megan M, Megan N, Mega Red, Megan D, Melanie H, Melissa B, Melissa G, Melissa H, Mellow 82, Mercy DM, Metal Pineapple, Mia Meow, Miami Cat, Mom, Micah, Michael Babcock, Michael B, Michael L, Michael S, Michael T, Michelle B, Michelle S, Mindy, Minnie W, Molly, Monica H, Monica R, Morgan D, Mother of Frogs, My Unicorn Farts Rainbows, aka Jose P, Maya, Misty, Naomi, Natalie C, Natalie G, Natasha M, Natasha, Nats Nutbutton, Nicholas M, Nick U, Nikki S, Nicole A, Nikki B, Nilza, Noah B, Not a Cat, Occult Chalamet, Oliver F, Olivia K, Oscar M, and Owlbear of Oracle. Thank you guys so much for being here with us, being in the Patreon, being part of the Hansi community. We could not make this show without you guys, and I'm so grateful for your support, especially at this time. And now it's time for the secret password. Comment FIRE on our Instagram photo dump, YouTube comments, or Spotify comments to be entered into a special raffle where you will win a special prize at the end of the year. Take care, guys. Bye.